Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. That beautiful reminder of choice. Remember, you always have a choice. You always have a choice about how you're going to think, about what you're going to make things mean. You don't have to continue with a thought process that's a habit that doesn't serve you. You can override it. Now, let that sink in for a moment. That right there is your greatest power. And unfortunately, most people don't use it. Most people are actually oblivious to that they even have that power. With that being said, I'm here to remind you that you do have it. And by using it, you can change everything in your life. Remember, thought externalizes itself. You become how you're thinking most of the time. And you're the one who gets to decide how you're going to think most of the time. Now, remember though, the most of the time part is rooted in habits and beliefs. See, that's what you've got to change because those habits and beliefs determine how you're thinking most of the time. And if you don't like it, the best part is you can change it to be whatever you want it to be. See, this is where the work comes into play. And this is also why we repeat this so many times because we want to get it through to you for you to be able to connect with that power and use it. Now, with this being said, there's a lot that is here. We give a lot of information here. And another reminder about that is that information, knowledge is not power. It has no power in and of itself. See, the only way that this knowledge, this information has power in your life or will have power in your life is if you apply it in your life. And just think about that. I gave you knowledge, information about your greatest power, which is your ability to choose your thoughts, to accept, reject ideas, to originate ideas. Now, that knowledge has no power in and of itself. See, it's only through the use of it, through the application of it, that it will make a difference in your life. So the message here is very simple. It's use what we share with you. That's what Dolly and I have worked so diligently together for helping you to understand that, for you to get that. That's why we created Emergence. And by the way, with regards to Emergence, a little update with regards to that, we've shifted the date to be the 28th. So it's not going to be happening this Saturday. It's going to be happening 2 weeks from now. We had to move things around. But with that being said, still register because it's going to help you and serve you. So make sure that you do register for that. All right, so what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, The Science of Getting Rich. If you don't have a copy of this book, make sure you do get a copy of it. Make it a permanent part of your library. And then when you do get it, make sure you do study it, you memorize it, underline it, highlight it, but most importantly, apply it. You got to use it and use it as if your life depends on it. You know why? Because it does. It does 100%. All right, so let's go into where we are, shall we? Let's go into the science of getting rich and get immersed in this wonderful, beautiful wisdom. Here we go. Boom. Uh-oh, hold on a second. There's been a shift with regards to the presentation here. Ah, there it is. All right. So where are we in this book? We're on page 126. Now, we talked about this in the last session, but we're going to talk about it again. And we're also going to reframe this, okay? Because here, Wallace Wattles says, guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Now, I'm going to take it a step deeper, which is where it's really out, and that is to guard your thoughts. Guard your thoughts. Remember, any thought that's held in the mind, in that conscious part of your mind, automatically gets impressed into your heart, your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind doesn't have any ability to reject an idea. It only accepts, and what it accepts, it enforces. Now think about that. Whatever it accepts, and it accepts everything that is presented, it enforces. Now, where it all starts is in the conscious part of your mind. That's where your agency is, your ability to accept, reject ideas. It's also where your higher mental faculties are. Your imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, intuition, all those wonderful tools that you have access to that you can strengthen that help to change what's happening in your heart. Remember that phrase, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. That's a statement of principle. As you thinketh based on what is in your heart, which is what you believe to be true and the habits you have, so are you. So are the results of your life. If you don't like the results of your life, you've got to change what's in your heart. You got to change your beliefs. You got to change your habits. And that is it. There is nothing else. Which is why it's so important for you to guard your speech, which really means guard your thoughts. Now, never admit the paucity of failure or speak in a way that infers failure or possibility. Never allow those thoughts to stay in your mind if they happen to come into your mind. Actually reject them. Remember, you have that ability to do that. You don't have to consent to things as they are. You don't have to consent to anything. You can accept and originate. Now, why is it so important for you never to admit the possibility of failure? Again, think about that. You accept the idea of failure, the possibility of it. You got to remember that that's an idea. And if you hold that idea on the screen of your mind, where does it go? It goes into your heart, your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is a loyal servant, but it's not loyal to you. It's loyal to what you've made important. If you are admitting the possibility of failure, holding that on the screen of your mind, that's what you're making important. Which means it'll be impressed here in your subconscious, which means your subconscious will do everything to enforce it. So if the idea comes in, and it does come in because it's all around us, reject it. Oh, yeah, that's fine. You could think that. I'm not going to. I'm going to operate on a different plane. Now, listen to what he says here. Never speak of the times as being hard or of business conditions as being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful for those who are on the competitive plane, but they can never be so for you. You can create what you want, and you are above fear. Now, let's talk about the psychology of this, about speaking of times being hard. It means you're thinking of times being hard. Now, remember, whatever you focus on, you get more of multiplied. Things are not brought into existence by thinking of their opposites. It doesn't work. You have to think of truth regardless of the appearance. Now, again, it may be a fact that there might be some situations you don't like that are happening, but let me ask you this question. Will you be able to change that if all you're giving attention to is that? The answer is no. Because that's not how the law operates. Now think about that for you with regards to whatever you're going through. In terms of what's happening right now in your life, whatever results they are, the thing that you must remember is that those results, how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle, where you're living, how you're dressing, the car you drive, is there because of how you have been thinking. Now let that sit in a moment. Sit in you for a moment. Let that sit there. It's because of how you have been thinking. If you want to change it, you got to change how you're thinking. You got to change what you're giving attention to. Now, before we proceed, for those of you who are connected with what we're talking about here and are feeling this draw for more of this so that you can use it in your life to change the outcomes of your life, and by the way, it will if you use it. then do yourself a favor and go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You will thank yourself later. Now let's proceed. Things are not brought in